galaxy had been at war for 100 years. Empires rose and fell, fleets clashed in the dark, and billions of lives were lost. Every world had chosen a side. Every people had spilled blood, except Earth. The humans had refused. When the Galactic Council begged them to join, Earth's leaders stood firm. "We will not fight in wars that are not ours," they said. "We want peace. We will protect only our own." The other empires laughed. Some called Earth cowards. Some called them arrogant. A few even whispered that humans were weak creatures, too frightened to risk battle among the stars. But Earth did not answer the insults. Earth simply turned inward, closing its borders. Its fleet stayed close to home, patrolling only human space. No colony world sent soldiers to the Council's wars. For years, humanity lived in silence while the galaxy burned. Captain Ceres of the Van Dominion stood on the bridge of his warship, sneering at the empty star map before him. "Earth refuses to join us. They think themselves above the galaxy's struggle. They think neutrality will protect them. Fools." Around him, alien officers muttered their agreement. To the Varn, Earth's defiance was a wound to their pride. No species had ever dared say no to the Dominion. "Why fear them?" one officer asked. "Their fleets never move. Their colonies hide behind defense walls. If they will not fight, let them be forgotten." Ceres narrowed his eyes. "Forgotten? No, Earth's refusal shames us all. Others see their defiance and begin to question us. If they stay silent, others will think they can stay silent too. We cannot allow it." He looked at the stars again, his voice hard as steel. "If Earth will not join the war, we will remind them why the galaxy fights. Far away, on Earth itself." The people carried on their lives as if the galactic war was nothing but a rumor. In the streets of New Geneva, children laughed and played under the clean blue sky. Traders sold fruits from colony farms. Citizens watched news screens where alien fleets clashed light years away. But no one thought the war would ever touch them. Earth was safe, they believed. Earth was neutral. Among them, Commander James Corr walked slowly through the crowd, watching their smiling faces. He had served 20 years in Earth's defense fleet, patrolling the cold edges of human space. To him, the laughter sounded fragile. "They think peace will last forever," he muttered to himself. "They don't see the storm on the horizon." In orbit above Earth, massive human warships floated like sleeping giants. They were not flashy, not painted with banners like alien fleets. Their hulls were dark, their weapons hidden. To outsiders, they looked old, slow, unremarkable. But inside, the crews trained every day. The ships were silent only on the surface. Commander Corr knew this truth. He had seen the drills. He had seen the secret engines, the hidden weapons. Earth was not weak. Earth was not unprepared, but Earth was waiting, and waiting made enemies uneasy. At the Galactic Council, voices rose like thunder. "The humans insult us," shouted the ambassador of the Graal hegemony. "They hide while we bleed." "They are cowards," cried another. "Their colonies trade with both sides while our fleets die." Only a few spoke in softer tones. "Or maybe," whispered the ambassador of the tiny Luran Republic, "maybe the humans know something we do not. Perhaps it is wise to avoid this endless war." But his words were drowned out by the roar of the council chamber. The galaxy demanded Earth's loyalty. The galaxy demanded Earth's blood, yet Earth remained silent. Silence became suspicion, and suspicion grew into fear. What was Earth hiding? Why did their fleets never leave human space? Why did they refuse, again and again, to send even a single ship to help the Council's war? Stories began to spread in the dark corners of the galaxy. Some said Earth's fleets were too weak to fight. Others whispered that Earth was building weapons beyond imagination. No one knew the truth. But one thing was certain. Earth's refusal could not last forever. In the black space between stars, the Van fleet gathered. Hundreds of warships, armed with fire enough to level worlds, pointed their bows toward the quiet blue planet. Captain Ceres watched the hologram of Earth's system appear before him. His lips curled into a thin smile. "Let us test their silence," he said. "Let us see if Earth still refuses. When fire rains upon them, His officers bowed their heads, their eyes burning with hunger. Far away, Earth slept beneath its calm sky, its people dreaming of peace. They did not yet know the fleet was coming. They did not yet know the first salvo would soon be fired, and when it came, nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The Varn fleet entered human space with no warning. Hundreds of warships cut through the black void, their engines burning like blue fire. They passed the outer patrol lines and crossed into the zone where no foreign fleet had ever dared to go. For years, Earth had warned, "Do not enter our borders. We do not join your war, we guard our own." But Captain Saris and his commanders ignored the warnings. "Humans think they are untouchable," Saris said coldly. "Let us show them the truth." At the edge of the system, human patrol ships detected the invasion. Multiple contacts. A young sensor officer cried out, her voice shaking. "Varn fleet closing fast, numbers." Hundreds of ships. The captain of the patrol ship, an older man with scars on his face, felt his stomach twist. His orders were clear. "Do not engage." "Send warning." "Fall back," he pressed the comm. "To Earth Command. This is Patrol Delta 7. We have a Varn fleet crossing into our space. Repeat. The Varn have entered human territory. They are heading toward Colony Prime." Static filled the channel for a moment. Then Earth Command replied, "Message received. Maintain distance. Do not provoke. We are watching." The patrol ship turned away, engines burning hard. The crew sat in silence, knowing they had just witnessed the start of something terrible. Colony Prime was a jewel among the stars. It was Earth's pride. Fields of green, oceans of silver blue, and shining cities filled with millions of settlers. Children played in the gardens. Workers moved through the markets. Families gathered at the docks where trade ships came and went. None of them expected war to arrive at their door. Captain Saris stood tall on his bridge as the colony filled the main screen. The world looked peaceful, fragile, almost beautiful. He felt no pity. "Lock weapons," he ordered. His gunners obeyed, targeting the orbiting defense satellites. A young officer hesitated. "Captain, we are firing on civilians. This is not war. This is massacre." Saris's eyes flashed with anger. "Silence. They defied the Dominion. Their blood will remind the galaxy what happens to those who refuse us." The order was given. The first salvo was fired. Beams of light cut across the void, faster than any human eye could follow. Explosions flared as the colony's defense satellites shattered one by one. In orbit, human trade ships were ripped apart, breaking into flaming wrecks. On the ground, alarms screamed. People ran through the streets, looking up at the sky as fire streaked downward. A mother clutched her child as shockwaves shook the city. A farmer dropped to his knees as the ground split from an orbital strike. Within minutes, Colony Prime was burning. In Earth's Defense Command, deep under the planet's surface, commanders watched the feeds in horror. Casualties rising fast, an officer reported. "Defense satellites down, colony shields failing, thousands dead already." The room was filled with silence, broken only by the sound of data streaming in. Admiral Vaynar, the old leader of the defense fleet, stood at the center of the room. His face was like stone, but his eyes burned with fury. "They have fired first," he said softly. "They have chosen war." A younger officer looked at him, voice trembling. "Do we answer, sir? Do we fight back?" For a long moment, the Admiral said nothing. The weight of his decision pressed on him like a mountain. Then he turned, his voice cold as the void. "Not yet. Let the world see. Let the galaxy see. They wanted to test our silence. Now they will see what awakens when we break it." Back on Colony Prime, the screams of the dying echoed across the cities. Fires spread, shadows fell, and families fled into the underground shelters. But many did not survive long enough to reach safety. Captain Saris watched with cruel satisfaction. "Look how quickly they fall. So fragile, so weak. The humans are nothing but a myth." His officers nodded, though some kept their eyes low, uneasy at the slaughter. "This was only the first blow," Saris continued. "When Earth itself burns, then the galaxy will remember who rules." But far away, in hidden shipyards and secret bases, Earth's war machine stirred. For years they had prepared in silence. For years they had trained in secret, and now, as Colony Prime burned, sealed hangars opened. Engines roared to life. Crews ran to their stations, eyes hard with rage. The humans had wanted peace, but peace had been shattered. The first salvo had been fired, and the answer was coming. Earth had been silent for so long that the galaxy thought the humans were weak. But the attack on Colony Prime changed everything. For 3 days the colony burned. Millions died, and survivors were scattered across the stars. The Van Dominion celebrated, believing Earth would finally bow. But they had forgotten one truth: humans could endure pain, but they never forgave betrayal. In the underground halls of Earth Defense Command, the air was heavy. Screens showed the destruction of Colony Prime on endless repeat. Admiral Vaynar stood at the center, his hands gripping the table. His voice was steady, but anger burned beneath it. "They drew first blood," he said. "They broke into our homes. They slaughtered our people. This was not war. This was murder." Around him officers waited, their faces pale but their eyes sharp. Some whispered that Earth should still stay neutral, that fighting would bring doom. Others clenched their fists, ready for vengeance. Finally, Vaynar turned to the Council of Leaders who sat behind armored glass. "For 100 years we stayed out of their war," he told them. "We warned them not to cross our borders. We asked only for peace, but the Varn have answered with fire. Now we will answer back, not with words, with fleets." His words shook the room like thunder. The leaders looked at one another. Fear, doubt, and rage all battled in their eyes. Then the Prime Minister of Earth, an old woman with silver hair, stood slowly. "Release the fleets," she said. "Let the galaxy see what Earth truly is." Deep in hidden shipyards across the solar system, steel doors opened for the first time in decades. In the cold dark of the asteroid belt, entire battle groups rose from secret docks, engines glowing bright. Massive dreadnoughts, larger than any alien had ever seen, drifted free from their cradles. On Mars, underground bunkers released sleek cruisers armed with weapons the galaxy had never faced. On Earth's moon, thousands of fighter wings launched like swarms of angry wasps, their pilots silent and grim. And in the deep oceans of Earth, submarines that could travel through space lifted from the waves, their hulls dripping with water as they broke into the sky. Commander James Corr stood aboard the warship Resolute, staring out at the fleet forming in orbit. His heart pounded, but not with fear. He had waited for this moment his whole life. "Status report," he called. "All systems green," his crew replied. "Weapons locked, engines primed, fleet ready," Corr nodded. He thought of the faces of the colonists who had died. He thought of the burning cities of Colony Prime. "This is not revenge," he said to his crew. "This is justice. For every child, every family, every soul they destroyed, we will strike back. And when we do, the galaxy will know humanity is not weak." The crew answered with a single word: "Aye." Beyond Earth, alien spies watched in terror as the human fleets moved. "What are these ships?" one whispered, sending shaky recordings back to his masters. "Their designs are unlike anything in the archives. Their engines, their weapons. They are hidden monsters," another agent added. "They were never weak. They were waiting for this." Messages spread like wildfire through the galaxy. The humans are rising. Earth is awakening. The sleeping giant has opened its eyes. In the Dominion capital, Captain Ceres's victory celebration was cut short. His officers brought him the reports, their faces pale. Human fleets are mobilizing. Hundreds of ships already moving. More coming from hidden docks. Ceres frowned. "Old freighters and colony ships." The officer shook his head. "No, sir, warships, massive ones, advanced. We do not even recognize some of their technology." For the first time, Ceres felt a chill. "This is impossible," he muttered. "They had nothing. They were neutral. He stopped, his face turning grey. "They tricked us." On Earth, Admiral Vaynar raised his hand. "All fleets hear me." His voice echoed across every ship. "For too long we let the galaxy believe we were fragile. For too long we stayed silent. That silence ended the moment the first salvo struck our colony. His voice grew sharp as a blade. Now we fight. Not to conquer. Not for glory. We fight because humanity's blood has been spilled. And we will never forget. We will never forgive. The Varn Dominion wanted war. Now we bring it to them. The fleet roared back in one voice. For Earth. For humanity. Engines flared. Ships turned their bows toward the stars. The sleeping giant had awakened and the galaxy trembled. The galaxy had expected Earth to remain silent. For 100 years, humans had hidden their strength, refusing to fight in anyone's wars. But now, silence ended. The fleets of Earth moved. Commander James Corr stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his eyes locked on the holographic map. Red markers showed the Varn fleet near Colony Prime, still occupying human space. Blue markers, Earth ships, were now rising from hidden bases across the system. Fleet formation complete, his officer reported. All squadrons ready for jump. Corr raised his hand. Transmit message to every ship. A deep tone echoed through the comms. Crews across the Armada froze, listening. This is Commander Corr. Today we take back our honor. Today we show the galaxy what it means to spill human blood. Remember Colony Prime. Remember the lives lost. We are the sword of Earth, and the enemy will break upon us. A single cry answered across thousands of voices. For Earth. The fleet jumped. In a heartbeat, the Resolute and hundreds of warships tore across space, appearing on the edge of the Colony Prime system. The Varn fleet was waiting. Their ships, huge and sharp like blades, filled the void. Captain Ceres stood proud on his bridge, certain of victory. Ah, he sneered, so the humans finally crawl from their holes. They come to die. But then his eyes widened. The human fleet was massive. Not ragged, not weak, but organized and terrifying. Dreadnoughts with thick armor, cruisers with strange glowing weapons. Swarms of fighters moving in perfect formation. Ceres had never seen such discipline, such hidden power. Still, he forced a laugh. Numbers mean nothing. Fire on them. Show them who rules these stars. The first clash began. Varn warships unleashed beams and missiles, lighting the void. Explosions tore through space as the barrage struck, but the humans did not scatter. They did not panic. They advanced. Human dreadnoughts raised shimmering shields that absorbed the blasts. Cruisers slipped between enemy lines, their engines burning bright. Then Earth struck back. Lances of white fire burst from the human ships, cutting through Varn armor like paper. Enemy cruisers shattered. Fighters exploded in swarms. On the Resolute, Commander Corr watched the first enemy ship break apart. His voice was calm, deadly. Target their flagships. Break their spine. The battle raged. Human ships moved with speed no alien expected. They weaved through the enemy like hunters through prey. For every human vessel lost, 5 Varn ships burned. Alien officers shouted in terror. Their weapons, what are these weapons? Others screamed, they are faster than our sensors can track. Even Captain Ceres felt dread. The humans fought with precision, fury, and unity the galaxy had never witnessed. This cannot be, he whispered. They were supposed to be weak, but weakness was nowhere to be seen. On the ground, survivors on Colony Prime lifted their heads as the sky lit up with fire. Children hiding in bunkers whispered when they saw human fighters streak overhead. The fleet has come, one boy said softly. Earth has come. Hope, long dead, returned to their eyes. After hours of brutal combat, the Varn fleet began to falter. Their formations broke. Commanders screamed for retreat, but the humans gave no mercy. Corr leaned forward, his eyes locked on Ceres's flagship. There, he said, the one who gave the order, the one who killed our people. Bring him to me. The Resolute and its escorts surged forward. Weapons fired in unison, tearing through enemy shields. Ceres's ship shuddered under the assault, its hull cracking open. On the bridge, Ceres staggered, his crew panicking. Flames burst from consoles. Alarms howled. No, he roared. We are the Dominion. We do not fall to humans. But his words were drowned out as another human salvo struck, tearing his ship apart. When the smoke cleared, the battlefield was silent. Wreckage drifted through space, burning pieces of the once mighty Varn fleet. Only a handful of their ships escaped into the void. The humans had won. Decisively, on every comm channel across the galaxy, the same words spread: Earth has struck back. The humans have risen. Commander Kor stood tall on his bridge, his crew cheering behind him. He gave only a single order: transmit to all colonies, all allies, all enemies. Let them hear our voice. Moments later, his words echoed across the stars. This is Earth's fleet. We did not choose this war, but we will finish it. To the Varn Dominion we are coming. The galaxy trembled. For the first time in history, humanity had shown its true power, and this was only the beginning. The wreckage of the Varn fleet still floated in the void. Broken ships drifted like dead giants, their fires slowly dying. The silence after the battle was heavy, almost holy. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy had witnessed it. On the Resolute, Commander James Kor stood tall on the bridge. His crew's cheers had faded into quiet determination. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Status of the enemy? Kor asked. Only a few ships escaped, an officer replied. They are running back to Dominion space. The rest destroyed. Kor nodded. Good, then it is time. He turned toward the comm station. Open a channel. Not just to our colonies, to the galaxy. The officer hesitated. Sir, you mean all open frequencies? Yes, Kor said. His eyes burned like fire. Let every world hear us. A deep signal spread across the stars, carried by satellites, relays, and comboys. Civilizations in every corner of the galaxy paused as a human voice filled their screens. This is Earth, Kor said, his words slow and heavy. For 100 years we stayed silent. We refused your war. We only asked to live in peace. His voice grew sharper, but peace was broken. The Varn Dominion entered our space. They fired first. They slaughtered our colony. They thought we would bow. They thought we were weak. He leaned forward, his voice cold as iron. They were wrong. In the Dominion capital, leaders froze as the broadcast played. Citizens crowded the streets, staring at giant screens as the human commander's face filled the sky. Across neutral worlds, people whispered in awe. On allied planets, leaders frowned, uncertain whether to fear or admire the humans. And on war-torn colonies, soldiers stopped fighting for a moment, listening to the message that thundered through the void. We are not weak, Kor continued. We are patient. We are watchful. And when blood is spilled, we remember. We never forget. Images of the battle appeared behind him. Varn warships breaking apart, colony prime survivors raising their heads as human fighters roared above them. The Dominion wanted war, Kor said. Now they will have it. But hear this well. We do not fight to conquer. We do not fight for glory. We fight for justice. For every life lost, we will strike back. For every colony burned, we will burn their pride. And for every family they destroyed, we will show them humanity endures. He raised his hand, his voice echoing like thunder. To the Dominion, know this, Earth is coming. In the command halls of Earth, Admiral Vaynar listened to the broadcast in silence. Around him, younger officers clenched their fists, eyes shining with fierce pride. The Prime Minister stood beside him, whispering, "The galaxy will never see us the same again." Vaynar nodded slowly. Good. Let them know who we are. Meanwhile, far from Earth, in secret corners of the galaxy, whispers spread faster than light. Did you hear? The humans crushed the Varn fleet. They were never weak. They were preparing. Maybe Earth can end this war. Maybe they are the power we needed. Others whispered in fear. If they are this strong, what will stop them? What if humanity decides not just to fight, but to rule? Hope and fear spread together, wrapping the galaxy in unease. In the Dominion Palace, Captain Ceres's defeat was spoken of as a curse. Survivors who returned whispered of weapons that tore through their ships, of human fleets moving like storms. The Dominion leaders clenched their fists. Their pride wounded, they humiliated us, one growled. If we do not crush them now, the galaxy will see us as weak. But deep inside, even they feared, because Earth had awakened, and no one knew how far its strength reached. On the Resolute, Commander Kor looked out at the stars. The battle was over, but war had only begun. He thought of Colony Prime, of the burning cities and lost lives. He thought of the families who would never see their homes again, and he swore silently, humanity would never let it happen again. Set course, he ordered. We're not waiting for them to come back. We carry the fight to their doorstep. Engines flared. The human fleet turned toward Dominion space. Moving like a storm across the stars, the galaxy had tried to break Earth instead. Earth had risen, and now humanity's message was clear. We wanted peace. You brought war. Now you will learn what it means to awaken a sleeping giant.